area is very conservative, isn't it?
Yes, it's an utterly safe Tory seat.
But the thing is, like the Conservatives from the last something about bringing back British Rail, 52% of them supported the idea of bringing back British Rail. But then, of course, it's not going to happen because it's the Conservative ideology to, well, not exactly privatize everything, but the ideology is to sell off everything, and then so it gets owned by the French, the Germans, the Spanish, and the Australians.
And their buddies, they're the non-dom funders.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's like, EDF is owned by France, E.ON is owned by Germany, by the German government. I think the Thames Water is still owned by the Australian government, something like that. It seems to be the case. They don't like the idea of they don't like the idea of the British state or the taxpayer owning something, but they're okay with foreign governments owning utilities and British companies. I really don't get it.
It's ever so efficient, isn't it?
Yeah, no, so that means
much more efficient.
So they're saying that the Tory party are too incompetent to run British utilities and companies.
I think I probably agree.
Yeah, I know. So maybe that's why they prefer foreign governments to actually run our utilities. But yeah, so sure. in some cases, yes. I mean, most voters, whether they're if you say conservative, liberal Democrat, even UKIP voters, they say they want to bring back British Rail, they want the NHS, they want all these things, but then
and yet.
Yeah, I know. Like Cameron did say that they're not going to.
And yet they still vote for these parties who will not do anything about all that. Yeah. They won't do any about any.
And they're just selling it off, and then afterwards blame immigrants and blame the European Union.
And why?
Easier.
It's very easy. Scapegoating is always very easy.
Yeah, it is. So the people in Chipping Barnet, what are their concerns? What are they concerned about? Are they concerned about the NHS? Not exactly HS2.
Let's assume the people of Barnet are concerned about everything that everybody else is concerned about. But when I go knocking on the doors, these are the things that I find are most in people's minds, right? Parking, congestion, speeding, parking, congestion, parking, cars, parking, congestion. And then sometimes the recycling, because they see I'm green, they immediately start talking about the recycling, and then housing. And that's why we're here, Obi, right? Because the housing is a huge issue. In Chipping Barnet, it's not so big. Over in Hendon, it's a huge issue. But we are soon going to discover how big it is here as well. Yeah, no. It's like Anton Homes supposedly is like owns 65,000 old MOD homes across the country. West Hendon was sold off by the Tory Council to Barrett's for £3. I don't even know what's happening with Dollars Valley. It's like I'm thinking myself, what the hell? It's like okay, do you want to? We can have a conversation, Mark. Do you want to have a conversation on film about what's happening at Dollars Valley?
I can't answer all the questions.
No, because we don't know ahead.
Okay, who owns Dollars Valley? Was it a council estate? And
it was.
It was. Okay, so how much was it sold to? I can't remember which company.
It'll be the order of £3 or £4, I'm sure. This was council to Countryside in Dollars Valley's case, so not Hampton, not Barrett. We got Countryside to deal with.
Countryside to deal with, and that was public land, I presume.
Land, I mean, they're handing it over piece by piece. They've handed over a school, a community centre, and a nursery. They've demolished the school and the community centre, and then they're about to demolish the nursery. But the land has been already given to Countryside. They're already building homes. They haven't yet evicted anyone, just because they got their hands on the school instead. So the evictions are due to start this summer.
So what we're looking at is it asset transfer, and it's a land grab, really, because it's. I mean, the people of Barnet don't really know that their public spaces, the commons, are being. It's not really sold off if you think about it. It's just £3. It's being given away. I mean, we're not exactly going to be able to. Yeah, exactly. We can't exactly go to Barnet Council and say, okay, can we buy West Hendon from you? Barras gave you £3, we'll give you £5.
To make the scheme viable, I mean, for us, the school wasn't supposed to be part of the regen first of all. It's been talked about for 20 years, and it wasn't needed. A school was needed. Everyone understood that, but the developers decided, viability reasons, say we need that school for housing. If we don't have the school, then the scheme is not viable. So they gave them the school, and then after that they said, well, we need that nursery and that community centre as well, because if we don't have them, it's not going to be viable. So, okay, you can have that as well, and pretty much all the community assets, all the spare land, has already been given over to the developers before they've even got to the houses yet. So no resident has benefited. No new homes have been built for the residents yet.
Okay.
Just taken out.
Yeah, but then that's the same thing. That's what the Conservative councillors are pointing out. I mean, we keep mentioning Conservative council because we're in Barnet, but then Southwark is Labour, and so is Newham, that's Labour as well, and they're doing the same thing, really. It's sort of the neoliberal agenda. Okay, so what else can we say? I mean,
well, there is one little thing that I want to say, because when I first went down to Dulles Valley in order to establish whether or not there was a spirit of resistance building there, I started talking to the people in the community centre, and I said, so what about the regeneration, what about the redevelopment? And they said, well, everything seems to be okay. They're building for the secure tenants, they're building a new block of flats over there, and they pointed in a direction. But what we're told is that the ceilings are going to be very low in these new blocks. They're going to be like, chicken coops, what do they call them, rabbit hutches or whatever.
Okay, smaller spaces. Okay.
Well, yeah, so at a recent partnership board meeting that I went to accompanying Mark, I was able to ask a question, and I said, is it true that the new blocks that you're going to build as the social housing, the only part of social housing you're going to build in Dulles Valley, are going to have these or rather I said, how high is the ceiling going to be from the floor? And they looked at each other rather puzzled and weren't sure for a minute, and then one of the people on the table who knew something about the actual build said, oh, it's going to be that many meters and centimetres, and I didn't quite catch it. And another fellow on the table said, that's 8 feet. I said, really? And they said yes, and they repeated it 3 times. It's going to be 8 foot high, these new flats for the new residents. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that's my guarantee. I expect them to be 8 feet high.
8 feet high, really?
That's the same height as this.
Same height as this?
I think this is not...
I'm 6 foot, that's about 2 foot.
Yeah, so it's about 6 foot, and okay, this about 8 feet there. I'm gonna have to check because there must. I mean, I know that because since the since the 1990s, they have changed the rules about how big a space can be that can be considered a bedroom, because there's still certain laws, but I think they wanted to reduce the sizes, which is really crazy because it's only 8% of the country that's been built, and then you can always build high.
In terms of getting a straight answer, that was one of the few occasions that night
that you got a straight answer
about anything. So
okay.
hold them to it. 200 pages. No, I can't remember the sentence, but
we have to go back
8 feet. That was a moment of truth. The rest of the night was hard questions, same as Poppy gave them, but we didn't get any hard answers on anything, and this is one of the fundamental problems with Dulles Valley. The residents just cannot get any information about anything.
Same thing with West Hendon, really, and then this one is just we swear they just get decimated. Okay, will do. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to tell? I don't know, the Conservative voters in Chipping Barnet?
I was just very, very worried about the way in which dissenting voices are treated as illegitimate troublemakers, and there's an endeavour to exclude them rather than engage and argue and clarify and learn.
Okay.
People who wish to come, who are known not to agree with the position of the partnership board, are intimidated and discouraged. You don't need to be here; it'll be above your head, or you're not going to be a new resident, or you live on the other side of the road, or we know you don't like what we're, you disagree with what we're doing, and so we don't want you here.
Or even you ask the wrong question.
Yeah, and these are the guys who are supposed to be representing all the voters, not just
they
the ones.
They are a partnership board, very unpleasant.
Okay. Anyway, that's Poppy, AM Poppy. Okay, Chipping Barnet, and Green Party for Barnet.
And Mark.
And Mark, yes, Dulles Valley.
Valley Peaceful.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. This is Obi, Occupying this network. Peace out, guys. I'll see you later.